morning. Today we're going to oven, bake, and smother some chicken. So first, we need to add our seasonings to it. Just regular old salt. Tony's Creole seasoning. This is what I put in just about everything but cabbage. I don't like it in my cabbage, but that's what it looks like. Just a little accent. Garlic powder. Onion powder. And black pepper. Now we're going to flip it over and do the same thing again. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing to the next side. The salt. A little accent. Garlic powder. Onion powder. Black pepper. I like a little extra black pepper in my chicken gravy. It just gives a little bit more flavor. And so that's our seasoning. Wipe that off. I'm actually cooking this in my 18-quart roaster oven, and it's very good to use in the summertime, or if you're not going to be home and you want your food to cook, you don't want to leave the oven on. So I'm going to place this on 350. And in here it cooks a little longer, so it'll probably be 2 hours, which is fine. Maybe a little longer than that. And also, because we're making, it's going to be oven baked, but we're making gravy to it, I'm adding a ½ teaspoon of chopped garlic in the little jar. And it says a ½ teaspoon is equal to a clove of garlic, so that's enough. I'm adding up chopped bell pepper. I even put bell pepper most time in my baked chicken, so I love it. Oh, just lost some of that. And this is a whole onion that I've cut up. I'm going to put that in there. And this is because we're making gravy. And remember I told you, well, I actually show you, but I do the same thing here. Whenever I bake chicken and I pour that broth off, it cools, the fat go to the top, you remove the fat, and you say that. And like when I made my dressing for Easter, I had some of my chicken broth from my baked chicken, and that's what I use instead of the chicken broth from the store. You know, I use it from the store if I'm out of it, but you can say that broth from here. And it's even more flavorful here because you actually have that onion and garlic seasoning in it, as well as the bell pepper. So all we're going to do now is just let this cook. Now, you can, at this time, you can actually place some flour over your chicken. I'm not going to do that because I like mine to crisp up and then I add the gravy. But if you want to now, you can just add the flour to it. But what I'm going to do, instead of using flour, I'm going to use one or the other of these. Maybe. Or sometimes what I do is I use a chicken bouillon cube. And this is the Nora kind. It's very flavorful. So it depends on the saltiness. I'm not sure yet. Or sometimes I'll just take some flour and brown it in the oven in one of the cast iron skillets and use that. Or substitute, you can use this brown gravy mix. Now I use this for my giblet gravy for Easter, and it made it salty. So yeah, this does have sodium in it. Not a whole lot, but because I used some chicken broth that I had with the giblet gravy too, and it may have been a little extra salty, it was a little too salty for me. So you can use this too. So you got a lot of substitutes in the way you can fix this. You can use this brown gravy mix. You can use this chicken or brown gravy mix. You can use the bouillon cubes, and you can brown your own flour. And I think that's what I'm going to do too. But when we get to that step, I'll come back and I'll show you. Okay. Okay, so it takes a little longer to cook your chicken in this thing here. So now we're going to add the gravy. So it's been baking for about probably 2 hours. But at this point here, I'm going to make the gravy with the chicken gravy mix. And with this, you use 1 cup of water. And just for a little color, I'm going to use some of the Tony's brown gravy mix. And not a lot. Remember I told you last time I made it, some of my gravy too salty. So just for a little color. And this is what it looks like. I'm just going to take that and pour it in there. And I'm probably going to let this go for about another 30 minutes. And if it doesn't crisp up like I like my chicken, I'll take it out of here and put it on broil in the oven. Because this thing is the same type of dish as your roasting dish. Okay, so here is the finished oven smothered chicken.